Welcome back to Beast Wars Wednesday.
Oh, aye.
I'm your host, Predacon Paul.
And I'm the one he keeps talking over, Decepticon Doug. This is a very special episode of Beast Wars Wednesday, where Predacon Paul and I, if you've missed it, that's us, we're talking about the toys. This is a much requested episode, because if it's one thing...
How requested is this episode?
Well, every now and then, somebody gives me a little ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong that says, "Hey, Decepticon Doug." And I'm like, "Huh? Mom, is that you?" And they're like, "No." Mostly in the comments, people are like, "Dudes, when are you going to talk about the toys? I want to see your toys." Because they see some of the toys in the background of our set. Okay, so these are my Beast Wars toys. Well, actually, not just mine. These actually belong to my family in general. A lot of them are from my personal collection, but a lot of them are also from my brothers, particularly my younger brothers. I don't think my older brother had any. So that's sort of where these all came from. They are organized sort of by order of how I got them, sort of.
You can clearly see that it's different.
Yeah, come on, guys. But Predacon Paul, what you used to have some Beast Wars toys?
I did. So this is the story. My brother and I grew up watching Beast Wars, or at the time it was Beasties. Beasties. He, for some reason, would get the MAXIMAL toys, and I would always get the Predacon toys. It got to actually a point where every birthday and every Christmas, we would like collaborate together. Like, I really want that depth charge, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get you the depth charge. And I'm like, I really want the Rampage. So like we'd get the toys that like worked with.
Yeah, once you have a depth charge and a Rampage, that's it basically. You're set. Actually, we used to have a depth charge, but it didn't belong to me.
Slag.
It belonged to my brother Nathan, and he gave it away at some point. But in fairness, like, I don't know if I would have wanted to keep it. It was in really bad shape. I think I would probably like it better if I just got a fresh depth charge somewhere else. So I'll have to keep my eyes open at secondhand stores.
Fish is always best when they're caught fresh. Exactly.
So whatever happened to your Beast Wars toys?
When my brother and I moved out of our home, for some reason we just left all of our stuff. So it's sitting in some bin somewhere, I don't know, in some storage locker.
Oh yeah.
I think. I don't know. Like, I had tons of toys. I had 2 Galaxy class starships, a Vorcha, and they were big, and like a bunch of Transformers. I had the TRANSMETAL Megatron. That was my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's a great toy.
Yeah, it's sturdy and it looks great. When he's in T-Rex mode, he looks really awesome. I was kind of disappointed that the rollerblades weren't actually wheels.
Oh yeah, but they looked like wheels, but they didn't actually spin. They were basically hunks of plastic.
Yeah, that you just move.
Yeah,
and
okay. Well,
I always thought like that Megatron was my favorite because he wasn't too big. He was still smaller than this guy, but he was still like a heavy hitter. When he transformed into robot mode, his feet stayed the T-Rex. Looked like the T-Rex, but they looked like really like aggressive and like just dangerous looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that particular Transformer that I thought was great.
It is a great design in the show too. I mean actually, by the time they did the Transmetals, they were really close to the show designs. The older ones from the first toy release, you could tell there's definitely a difference between how they look in the show and how they look in the toys. What
other one did I have? I had Air Razor. For some reason, Guy never liked it, Air Razor, so I just made her part of my collection because I thought she was kind of badass. I had Dragon Megatron, which was my prize. I pride and joy, and I told you this story. I'm not sure if I said this story.
I think it made it in the cut, but yeah, you lent him, and
I didn't want to, but he convinced me because I'm such a nice guy.
Too nice, clearly.
Gave it back, and the wing was broken. I was so mad.
And that's when you turned into the jaded tyrant that you are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Spider-Man 3.
That was the breaking moment.
I can't remember which other ones I had. I had a bunch. But it's been like 20 years. So.
It's been a long time.
It's weird that I can say that it's been 20 years since something.
Yeah.
And it's like
and I remember it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. So, and it's not just like this weird distant memory. All right. All right, kiddaroonies, let's talk about our toys. So this was my first one. I got it during my birthday, 10th birthday?
Your 10th birthday.
From a friend of mine. His name is David.
David, you're a wonderful person.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. His name is JETSTORM. He turns into a dragonfly. I love this guy, and I think...
He looks really cool.
He was one of the ones where he could move this, and he would suck in some water, and then he'd press it, and then it'd shoot out... It'd blast water from his mouth, like it was acid. Yeah, that was the idea. I rarely ever got the ones from the show, because they were usually the ones that were sold out. And so I would always get like the secondary characters that people wanted less because they weren't in the show. This guy, unfortunately, his little legs, there used to be all 6 legs on here. And because they were kind of a soft plastic, they all started to break off. So The only one of them actually is absolutely fine. This one here is glued on.
Oh.
This is all that remains. It looks okay, but when he's in beast mode, you could definitely tell he's a dragonfly missing most of his legs. So he's seen better days, but...
I really like the way the wings are like, they swoop back like this and then on his, like the back of his...
This one was my favorite growing up, Baboom. We talked a little bit about him in like comics issues, but Baboom was a triple changer, so he had like a beast mode, he would turn into a mandrill, a robot mode, and then like a battle mode. And I can't really transform him now because Baboom, unfortunately now, is broken. There's a very vital piece that is right in there that holds his torso together. He can't really stand up straight. Paul managed to get him to stand up. If you're very careful, he'll stand up straight, but if you move in well, he'll just like fall apart basically.
Unfold or whatever.
Unfold. It kind of irks me. I do really wish that he was in, that he could hold himself together. With Beast Wars toys, you'd always break them, like arms and stuff would fall out, but there was a difference between that kind of breaking that you could easily fix and then when plastic actually snaps. When I like played with the toys, because I mostly had characters that weren't in the show, I made up a story where this was like a separate Beast Wars happening elsewhere on the planet of like stasis pods that had like basically had fallen. And
that could totally work though as a story because like when you see the ships crash, they're in a very small region of, I would guess, America or Central America? Or
somewhere, I don't know. Or I guess, well, given the animals, I guess they're in Africa, aren't they?
Africa? Okay, of Africa, like.
But although, you know, there's a whole, actually a bunch of different animals. But Rhino was in, like, gorillas and cheetahs.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, Africa maybe? Yeah. Anyways, like, they're only in, like one very small part of Africa. So, I mean, like, there could be, like, stasis pods that have woken up in like Canada or like Europe. So there could be like separate Beast Wars going on and we never knew. Yeah.
They kind of went with a similar idea with the Gathering, only like they just put it out of sync, but you know, they kind of used my stasis pod idea. Let's be honest, guys. They kind of stole it from me. So this is MANTERROR. I love this one actually.
He's really cool.
And you look. Okay. Pew. Also, you know, because I love praying mantises. I just think they're like really cool bugs and fabulous dancers. I love the way he transformed. He just was actually fairly intricate, but also like not hard to like remember. I
don't know how dangerous they are. Can those things hurt? Can they bite? I don't know.
I don't know really. They're definitely quite a menace to the insect kingdom. Well, they're predators basically. They'll give you a good chomp if you're a bug. Okay, IGUANAS. This is one of the OG Beast Wars toys.
Didn't I use him in the card game?
Yeah, that's right.
He was wrecking.
He did.
He was my wrecking ball.
And he's one of those guys that was really easy to transform, where you basically just flip the thing and it basically happened automatically, and then you just flip a few things here and there, and bada boom, from beast to bot, the action's hot.
Batteries not included.
Yeah. He has a little gun in the back. Pew pew pew. I always like these because you could take them off and he could hold them, or it could just be stuck on his back like that and then shoot things.
I've always liked the idea of Transformers having guns that are mounted to them, as opposed to having like a pistol. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I've always loved like CHEETORs, like that. Just the sound it makes and everything, like it's a really, really fun handgun or whatever. Optimus having those interceptors, or Megatron having those two twin cannons on his shoulders that he could just like move, and they were like his fingers from his beast mode. I've always loved that kind of stuff.
Because it's built in. It's like even if they lose a gun.
Even Megatron has the rocket launchers in his hips.
Yeah, which he never used except for that one episode.
Yeah.
Against Pterosaur of all people.
I mean, I would shoot him too, probably. So.
Yeah. This is RAZORCLAW. He is a crab. As you see, he's seen better days. His arm is literally taped together because I tried to glue it and that didn't work, and so this is the only way to do it. This is the original CHEETOR, OG CHEETOR.
OG.
This one I got from my grandma one Christmas. I was not expecting, because I rarely ever saw the guys from the show in the stores. So when she gave this to me, I was blown away. That was the same grandma that I was at her place when I first saw Beast Wars. So played to perfection by Paul Grenier. Clawjaw, you know, this one was always weird to me. I liked the toy, but he's just a squid, and I just never figured out the practicality of that. I think with characters like Depth Charge, where he could transform into a flight mode and stuff like that, that made a lot more sense to me. But like, when is a squid ever going to come in handy? What uses is he going to have? I don't know.
Well, he could probably like spin his legs really fast, and then he's a helicopter.
Oh, there we go. There you go. Where were you when I was a kid?
In Calgary.
Shoot. And here's always the big downside of Clawjaw is I could never stand him up. He's just got too much weight on his back from his legs.
Got that booty.
Drill Bit. This is Drill Bit. He turns into a Weevil, and he's got a big drill in his face.
Is he voiced by Owen Wilson?
Wow. Yes, actually. Yes, he is. If you choose to believe it. This was Daniel's, my younger brother. This is his first Transformer that he ever had, and he loved it. He just loved it. We got a few spare Transformers. Like, okay, I don't know. There's a few in a bin there that like are repeats of these ones. I think my brothers got them from a friend of theirs who was just giving them away. So Drill Bit was actually in pretty bad shape, but there was a second Drill Bit, and basically I just swapped out all the pieces that were flimsy or missing, and basically made a complete Drill Bit. So he's back to full health.
You waspinated him.
I did. I waspinated him.
This guy needs no introduction.
QUICKSTRIKE.
QUICKSTRIKE.
He's a great toy, actually. I love the design. I just love the simplicity of a scorpion with a cobra tail. And also he was you could transform him really fast, but it wasn't like so fast. Like the IGUANAS one transforms so fast, it's almost like no fun. But with QUICKSTRIKE, there's just enough things that you can transform him real quick, and then ba-boom.
No, that's ba-boom.
Oh, sorry, my bad. And I love that that in the show they kind of honored the fact that he was really tiny. Oh yeah, for those who don't...
He's the short guy with the tough guy syndrome. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
He's just so funny and got such a great personality.
Yeah.
He's such an idiot.
Yeah. Great personality in that his personality is horrible. But that's what makes him so lovable. Spitter belonged to my brother Nathan, and he's a frog. And basically his attack, if you press a little thing on his back. And they figured that this was a great attack for a toy to have. Well, actually, what it was is that when he's in beast mode, flip that over. There you go. It's like his tongue, but it's also his head.
Fudge.
The fudge, indeed. Rampage, of course. I got that from a friend of mine named Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, much respect.
My dude.
Well, actually, he gave me Baboom, too, if I recall.
Andrew. My dude.
Yeah. Actually, I think there was like a 3-toy combo he gave me. Yeah, honestly, he gave great presents, but I think he gave me RETRAX here, MANTERROR, and Baboom all in one. And then, like, the next year, he gave me Rampage, so...
Andrew. My dude.
Yeah, he is indeed my dude. And your dude. He's everyone's dude.
He's the dude.
He's the multi-dude. And yeah, I don't know what to say about Rampage other than he's awesome. And he's huge. And still holding up pretty good today.
A little bit of slight paint chipping, but this paint always came off.
Yeah, apparently the TRANSMETALs are notorious for that, is that that layer of paint is always coming off. So that sucks, but what can you do? Back in the FUZOR boat, we got Airhammer.
Airhammer.
Well, and I love Airhammer. I think he's a great toy. I can see why Airhammer, our frequent viewer, named himself after this character. But I just love the idea that it's like a hawk and a hammerhead shark. I just love that. It's like, who thought of it? Because they deserve some kind of like Nobel Prize. You know, he doesn't have any hands. He's just got a blade and a little snapper. But you know, it's good to pretend that this can like blast dudes and grab things. And yeah, big fan of Airhammer. And RETRAX is a strange one because he's a pill bug. And it's really hard to turn a pill bug into a functional robot. They did okay, but if I'm to be completely honest, RETRAX kind of sucks. I really did do my best to enjoy him and make the best of him when I was a kid, but his hands and stuff, like I would fold these little legs up and pretend that they shot all like lasers. So I in my head, I really decked him out with weaponry. But as far as like actually functionality of the toy itself, you could bring out his hands, but all they did was like this. So and they were always on springs, and so as far as like actual maneuverability goes, and the fact that it's so hard to get him to stand up, RETRAX kind of sucks. Sorry guys. Sorry for all of you hardcore RETRAX fans out there.
There's got to be one or two.
Again, still didn't stop me from playing with him to death as a kid. And actually what I will say is that it was really good for actually staying together. Like, there were not a lot of pieces that would come off. So at least he's like sturdy and has stayed with me all these years. Wow. This is a slow moving process. TRANSMETAL WASPINATOR, which of course never was in the show. I think we tried to give him a different name to pass him off as a different character, but with the TRANSMETALs, they also had their name on the wing, so eh. And he's not in great shape. He's missing one of his wings.
I wonder how durable he would have been as a TRANSMETAL. Would he still have fallen apart? Like everything about him is TRANSMETAL except for the joints. So he still falls apart.
This one is LAZORBEAK. It's basically just a repaint of the Pterosaur. They made him purple.
It's good to be a Predacon.
I liked Laserbeak because they reintroduced Ravage in the show.
Ravage.
Laserbeak was also one of Soundwave's like little minion guys.
Okay.
And so I just pretended he was Laserbeak. That very Laserbeak from the old G1 series. SCAREM. He turns into a Scarab, and he is hideous, and his arms are just huge blades. I love him. I think he's great. This one is Transmetal Air Razor, but again, because Air Razor was not Transmetal in the show, we just pretended she was someone else and called her Talon. So yeah, I tried to maintain continuity. I didn't want to like mess around too much with things. But I like the toy. I think it's a good toy. It's big shiny silver bird. I can't remember what she turns into for the secondary mode. It's some kind of like
jet thing.
Yeah, jet ski or something. There's also Transmetal 2 CHEETOR right there. Missing a missile. I don't know what happened to the missile. There's a few things.
No. That's Ravage repainted.
Yeah, yes, that's right. We went through all the ones that I had as a kid, and now these are the ones I got a little bit later. So now this bunch I got. I can't remember exactly when. It was years ago now, but my friend Mason was just decided to give away all of his Beast Wars toys. Do you want them? And I'm like, yes, I do. I absolutely do want them.
You have to ask Mason.
So shout out to Mason.
Shout out to Mason, my dude.
The Scorponok toy is he's one of the ones that looks the least like the show character. I mean, the basics are there. He's really black. I mean, he's a cool enough toy. But, you know, I still would have killed him off at the beginning of Season 2. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he gave me Megatron. But he definitely gave me Polar Claw, who basically... Do you remember that Polar Claw and Scorponok shared the commercial? Because Scorponok had the Cyber Bee, and Polar Claw had his attack bat. Whee!
Oh.
Yeah, so he had a little bat that basically functioned like the Cyber Bee, and he could hold it and use it as a gun. And I just thought that was
Did it shoot little bats?
Yeah.
Splat. This could also be like a shoulder cannon.
Totally. And then this thing had like a... I think there's a certain... Oh, yeah. Okay, so it doesn't work exactly, but you press the thing and it got stuck in there. So maybe if you had to have it open and then press it. There's like this little... Yeah, little attack thing. I'm trying to think of like when that really would come in handy in battle.
Well, it's like when if you're sitting there and you're making dinner and the Megatron reaches into the pot to grab a little,
yeah.
And then you just you slap him in the hand, right?
Yeah, makes sense to me. So yeah, I really like the Polar Claw figure. I think it's great and it's nice and sturdy. It's big and Scorponok. Holy man!
Oh no!
Polar Claw, stop!
I think Polar Claw and like Tigertron would have been a pretty cool combination.
They would have been best buds, I think. They had a lot to talk about having white fur and hanging out in the snow.
Yeah, they'd be like, hey, how was your snow? And he was like, oh, it's cold.
On that note, I also got Tigertron and Air Razor in that same batch as well as Inferno.
I like that you position them sort of like together here.
Yeah, keep them together, keep the family close.
Yeah.
Same with Inferno, who was missing some pieces, but just like before, there was a second Inferno, and I managed to group the pieces together, so now he's a complete Inferno.
I love that.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing.
It's kind of like Lego, but not Lego-y. Armadillo, like another one of those like flip ones.
Armadillo.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, it's appropriate.
I know it's kind of an embarrassing pun for a name, but
Well, he's still not a friggin' penguin, so.
At the end of the day, he's not a penguin.
Or a giraffe. Man, that guy looks so stupid.
Then there's this one. I always wanted this. I wanted this one and the bat that it came with, because that was the original Optimus Primal and Megatron. So this is Megatron before the T-Rex Megatron was released. Was this tiny little crocodile. And I gotta say...
What?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the very first Beast Wars toy I remember it had a little CG animation of a bat flying into a swamp. And then the crocodile came out of the swamp, and then they turned into robots, and then they started to fight.
I feel like I may have seen that commercial way back.
Yeah, it was kind of a 2-pack of Optimus Primal and Megatron, but they were so tiny, and it seems like it was a weird decision to have Optimus Primal as a bat. And this is Snarl, which I don't know exactly where this one came from, to be honest. I don't remember getting it in the package with Mason. But here it is. Snarl is the guy who went invisible in the comics.
Oh, hey.
Here he is, visible. I put him in this very relaxed pose because I couldn't for the life of me get him to stand up, so he's just chilling here. Next is the 10th anniversary collection that I did get. I got 6 of the toys. They were all released. Each of the 6 had a piece of Transmutate. Each arm and leg, torso, and a head. And so here's Transmutate. And it was Waspinator, Tarantulas, CHEETOR, Rattrap, Rhinox, and Dinobot. They were colored differently than they were in the original toy line. You can even see it between this CHEETOR and this CHEETOR. This is more show accurate in its coloring and just kind of a better, nicer finish.
Yeah, it looks like there's textures and stuff on it.
Yeah.
It looks like fur.
But the mold is the same though. They're great. I thought that they were like the best of the Beast Wars toys at the time, basically.
Huh. Hey.
I like that it's tied on because I would have lost that for sure. I think the OG Rhinox toy, I think it's garbage.
This guy right here?
Yeah. I mean, look at that. Look at all the lumpy bits. His stupid face.
Why does he have the angry face?
Most of the characters came with two faces. I don't know if you remember that, but the robot face and the mutant face. And they kind of dropped that later on, which I thought was a good idea. I like the machine gun gizmo that he has. The little spinner thing. I think that's great. But I just think that the design of that toy is so clunky.
I thought it was always kind of funny that his mouth opened up and then his jaw was his chest.
Yeah.
It always weirded me out because like it would become like malleable as opposed to this like structured skull, and then you could see it moving and stuff. It's just when I was a kid, it always just did not work for me.
They decided to put in TRANSMETAL Rat Trap rather than OG Rat Trap. I guess it's because the OG Rat Trap was really tiny, and they just wanted to keep them all like the deluxe size. Here's the worst: is this Dinobot toy. I always wanted a Dinobot toy, and
Does this do what I think it does? Yes. Oh.
it's okay. Honestly, there's nothing you could do to this toy that it won't do to itself. But yes, he had a functional chopper, but unfortunately, okay, it even so. This toy, I don't know if I just got like a botched mold or something, or like a bad plastic, but it just keeps breaking. Every time I touch it, it breaks. I'm missing a chunk off of its foot just by trying to like transform him. I let my nephew touch this once when he was really little, which, you know, I should have known not to do, but there's no reason. Like, he grabbed it, he held onto it for like all 3 seconds, and a bunch of pieces just flew off.
That's comical.
And I'm like, oh, I'm taking that. Sorry. Like it was like comedic perfection. Hey, maybe you're getting old enough to play with this. He's like, oh, I'm like, oh, okay, no, you're not. No, you're not. And even just today, to illustrate my point, a chunk of the chopper broke off just because I tried to open it. And I don't know what, like, it's just this one toy. It's just this one. It drives me up the wall.
That is brutal.
I see that part. His hand is broken.
Yeah. His
foot is broken. His mutant head is broken. It's just, it's terrible. I don't know what it is.
He's not a good looking toy either.
No, the OG Dinobot toy is not the best, but I still wanted one because I loved him in the show.
Yeah.
But the colors, they did get the colors right. They look a lot better than.
Good job, Hasbro.
Okay, so now this is the post Beast Wars, but I put them in here because they're kind of Beast Wars related. Because there was a series called the Dinobots, which was basically all of the toys that turned into dinosaurs, just repainted basically. So this is TRANSMETAL 2 Dinobot, but a different version. So I liked the toy. I think we called him Rapticon or something like that.
Rapticon works.
His limbs are a little flimsy now.
From day one, those friggin' legs just suck.
Yeah, so not the best mold. Although I always liked the feature of his
tail?
Of his tail being able to wag like that. I think that's cool. The toy is a bit flawed, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and some of that paint is coming off. I don't remember what this guy's name is at all, but he's a pretty cool toy. He turns into a Stegosaurus, and like it actually, from robot mode to beast mode, like it feels like it's pretty, like it actually looks good. Like ones like Rhinox where the beast mode looks pretty good, but the robot mode looks like garbage. This guy is robot mode looks good, beast mode looks good, and
all the textures and everything.
Oh yeah, so he's
solid feeling, like the good plastic. It's not gonna fly apart every time you touch it.
Yeah, thankfully not.
Man, think of how cool this would have been to actually see a Stegosaurus. What's interesting is he's got like, it kind of looks like a headdress. The
downside is because it looks good, the transformation process is actually pretty complicated. Another one of these guys is, I don't remember this character's name at all, but he turns into one of those flying, feathered...
I hate him so much.
You don't like the toy?
Not at all.
I liked it when I was younger, but the wings going to the side it's always been kind of intrusive. Especially when actually his actual chest isn't, like, there's a lot of...
Actually looks kind of nice.
Like, actually looks kind of cool, but they hide it because it's like they didn't know what else to do with the wings. And he had a gun. I liked his gun. It used to connect right here, and so it was cool because, like, you see how you could hide it there, and then basically this would flip, and it would go into his hand like that, and that was cool. So it was like a shield and a armed with a pistol, and I don't know where the gun is, and I'm really unhappy about that. This one, his name was Buzzsaw, but I gave him like a different name because oh yeah, he's got a little spring, little ding, and it comes with a little
His arm is the little stopper thing behind your door,
and you can actually pull out his stinger. So like, so yeah, this is from Beast Machines, one of the ones obviously that didn't make it in the show, and yeah, this was supposed to be Buzzsaw the Predacon. According to the description on the box, Buzzsaw the Predacon, who was in the Beast Wars, but he turned Maximal when he went to Cybertron. That was the story on the box. By this point, I had completely abandoned the Beast Machine story and just went with my own thing. And just completely, I renamed the character to Zernok? Zernok. I don't know why. This was Daniel's. Also Beast Machine's toy. He turns into a lizard with the wings. I don't know anything about him. I'd have to look it up. But I spent up my looking up time on these guys here. These are from the show Robots in Disguise, which came out after Beast Machines. The show was terrible.
Really?
Yeah. They went from Beast Machines, and then they went very extreme into anime, with all of the downsides that come with anime, and like including like little kids who were like helping them and stuff like that, which is, you know, I guess a Transformer staple. What was interesting about Robots in Disguise is it was Predacons versus Autobots. The animal ones were the Predacons, and then they had the cars that were Autobots, and I don't exactly know how they lined up, like, but it was completely separate continuity from anything that had come before. It was its own thing entirely. What I will say about the Robots in Disguise toys, the toys were great. The toys were so cool. Like the transformations were so interesting and complex, and the character designs were so awesome. More so with the cars. These ones, and the reason I brought these ones out is because these are repaints, I think, from the Transmetal 2 line. They were redone and repainted in different colors for Robots in Disguise, and I did look up their names.
Oh, I like this guy. He's got a sword.
He was originally a Maximal, but in this he's a Predacon. His name is Darkscream.
Darkscream, cool.
And I did like the fact that he has a big sword.
You can see the spark.
Yeah.
And then he's got the wings, and he's got, well, it looks like turbine fans.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a freaking sword, yo. And
he turns into a flying squirrel. So, what's more evil than that?
Well, better that than the freaking stupid bunny rabbit.
I remember these three came together. There's a 3-pack. So Darkscream, Gas Skunk. Guess what animal he was? And
a polar bear.
Slapper was the frog. This was Spitter in the Transmetal 2 line. And yeah, I thought they were great. So the shark here was originally Transmetal 2 Cyber Shark. This one guy they renamed to Skybite. I like the colors a lot better than the original Transmetal 2. I'll show you the picture of the Transmetal 2 one. It's got a lot of like green. No. So yeah, that's way better, I think. And this is Megatron. This wasn't a reused mold. This was specifically designed for Robots in Disguise. But I think it's a great toy. Like it's a really cool, very sturdy, nice toy. Like I just think it's awesome. Over here, this is a repaint of Transmetal CHEETOR. I think they just went by the same names, so I think it's just called CHEETOR. And he's like got a lot of neon colors and purple and stuff like that.
Was this character just a repaint of the Transmetal CHEETOR, or was he a character in any of the other shows?
I don't know. I think the line that these two are from is, I think it was called Transformers Universe. And as far as I know, there were only toys. I don't know of any show. Okay,
so it's like a collector's version of a toy that you might already have.
And it's basically just like things turned purple for some reason, because they also have a purple silver bolt, which I have to confess, I hate this. It just looks so dumb to me. I really
like the feathers.
Oh yeah, again, the mold, original toy was awesome. This purple one is just not. Although, here's what I will say about it. Is because I disliked it so much. This was like my go-to toy that I would give my niece, Scarlett. So she's like, I want to play the Transformers. I'm like, yeah, here you go. And now I have sort of a Waspinator relationship with him because he takes so much punishment, but always somehow comes out unscathed. And like I always find the pieces that go missing. You know, basically like by the next episode, he's fine again. And now I've just sort of got this weird love-hate relationship with him where I'm like, yeah, and you just keep pulling through, dude. You just keep pulling through. No matter how badly I try to get rid of you. So now I kind of oddly do like him. Although I call him Purple Bolt, not Silver Bolt. Because he's, for obvious reasons.
Bolt?
Purple Bolts. Like I said, some repaints are an improvement. They make a lot of sense. This one is not one of those cases. Okay, final ones. Of course, we got a couple masterpieces here. I went to a place called Ages 3 and Up. I wanted to find the OG Optimus Primal Gorilla. They didn't have it, but they did have one of these. My mom graciously chipped in to help as a early birthday present. She chipped in a little bit of money because these masterpieces are not cheap. So between her and I, we picked up an Optimus Primal, and it looks awesome.
It is perfect.
I think these masterpieces that they're making right now are amazing. I think next one to come out is Tigatron. Oof. Also, there is CHEETOR. I picked up a CHEETOR because, hey, why not?
He looks awesome.
I think he looks great. Looks just like the show. You can even swap out faces and stuff like that to give them different expressions. And the masterpieces, I think, are incredible. Yeah, right now they're just releasing Season 1 characters. They've also got Megatron, which I would get Megatron, but I can't figure out which arm I want to sell.
He's freaking perfect.
Although these are toys, technically,
these aren't toys.
I do not recommend playing with them. After I transform them into robot mode, I really don't want to transform them again, because you need instructions to get through these. You need them. Before we get too far, I wanted to say a little something about our fallen comrades here. This is our little graveyard for this Inferno who gave his life so that that Inferno may thrive. This is all that remains of Pterosaur. We used to have Pterosaur. I don't know where the rest of him is. This is it, folks. More than what's left in the show, anyway. This is a character named Power Pinch. He's actually in pretty good shape, except for the fact that he's missing his head entirely. don't know where that is. This is the Beast Machine's Optimus Primal. He's missing his robot mode head as well. So, farewell, Optimus Primal. Transmetal Pterosaur. He's seen better days. He's actually got most of his pieces, but his limbs are so flimsy. I think he's just suited for the graveyard now. Ramulus is definitely, he's missing his whole beast mode face. Yeah, he's seen better days.
Ramulus sounds like something from Star Trek.
Now this was the first Beast Wars toy we ever had. This is Buzzsaw, who we mentioned, and poor Buzzsaw has seen a lot of action. He's missing pieces. His joints are broken. Focus in. There you go. Yeah. So poor Buzzsaw has seen better days. Rest in peace. And those aren't going in the garbage. Those are just going to go in the bin that Scarlet plays with. What I will say is we have this spiffy.
Quite spiffy.
I've had this for a little bit of time, but I've almost been too afraid to open it. This is Dinobot, the masterpiece Dinobot, and I think we should try and transform him.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So what we have in here is Dinobot and the many faces of Dinobot. They're all variations of Mad by the looks of it.
Well, he's got 3 modes. Angry,
Ooh.
angry,
This
and
actually
angry.
has some substance to it. Here, just have a look.
I wonder how durable it is.
Not nearly durable
Fly
enough.
fart. Is this durable as this one?
No, he better not be. Oh man.
So just to sort of add perspective, this is the old one.
Yeah. I don't know how to attach this, but at the same time, do I want to bother? I don't know. Well, there's his sword.
Oh, his mouth moves.
Oh, cool.
What? Do his eyes shoot lasers?
Yes, there's eye lasers in here. This is them. So they light up. I don't know if he has batteries in them, but
Batteries not included.
it could be batteries not included. Let's have a look at the instructions. You know, if we can get them transformed. Here, I'm gonna stop recording. This is gonna take forever. Okay, so I finished Dinobot. It took a lot longer than I was expecting, so I was originally gonna do a time-lapse video, but even that would be really long and really boring. So instead, here you go, the final product of Dinobot. I also wanted to mention that most of the time I keep my Beast Wars toys in here, in this little thing, this container. Part of why some of those pieces seem to be missing is that I discovered just today, there's a hole in it. And I've taped it up since, but that does mean that Some of the pieces are gone because I have moved probably with this hole in this container. So farewell to those missiles and guns that slipped out. That really sucks. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. This amazing episode of Beast Wars Wednesday.
Let us know what your favorite Transformers toy and your best favorite Transformers memory is.
Yeah. We want to know. We want to know. I don't know where else to go with that, so I guess we'll just leave it at that.
I give this review 5 out of 5 missing Transformer robot heads.
Oh, poor Power Pinch.
Like, subscribe.
Tell your mom.
Hey, he stole my line.
Scheme a lot better than the original Transmetal. Oops.